The planet Aura 7 had always been a place of mystery and silence. Its golden sands stretched for miles, shining under the light of its twin suns. The winds carried whispers of the past, moving across ancient ruins that had been buried for centuries. Humans had arrived on this planet only recently, drawn by rumors of ancient alien civilizations. Most explorers expected to find simple artifacts or remains of buildings. What they did not expect was something that could change everything they knew about the universe. Mara stepped carefully across the dunes, her boots sinking slightly into the warm sand. She had been a trained archaeologist for many years, but nothing could prepare her for the feeling of standing on a planet that had been untouched for thousands of years. Her team followed closely behind, carrying scanners and equipment. The air was dry and sharp, but the sunlight made the golden sands sparkle like tiny stars. Mara stopped suddenly. A faint glimmer caught her eye. She crouched down and brushed away the sand with her gloved hands. At first, she thought it was a piece of metal, but the way it reflected light made her heart race. She called out to her team. "Look at this. I think we have found something important." Jiro, the engineer, came over with a scanner in his hand. "It is definitely metallic," he said. "But it is unlike anything I have ever seen. The surface is smooth, yet it glows faintly." Mara's eyes widened. "It could be part of a larger structure. Help me clear the rest of the sand." For hours, the team worked carefully. The sand was stubborn, and they had to make sure they did not damage whatever lay beneath. Slowly, a massive figure began to emerge. The humans could hardly believe what they saw. The figure was enormous, taller than any human-made building. It was made of gold or some golden-like metal that had survived the test of time. The shape was unmistakable. It was a humanoid figure with its arms slightly raised, its face calm and proud. It seemed to be holding something in its hands, but the sand still covered it. Mara stepped back and took a deep breath. "It is a statue," she said. "A sun god. I have read about similar depictions in ancient texts, but I never imagined we would find one like this." Jiro looked at the scanners. "The energy readings are strange. There is some kind of power source inside. It is faint, but it is definitely active." The team exchanged excited looks. Mara approached the statue again. As sunlight touched the top of the head, a soft glow spread across the surface. The statue seemed almost alive, reflecting the sun in a way that made it look as if it were shining from within. Mara could feel her heart racing. She had discovered many things in her career, but nothing like this. Suddenly, the statue emitted a soft hum. It was low at first, almost like a whisper, but it grew steadily. The sound resonated through the sand, making the ground vibrate slightly under their feet. Mara stepped back in surprise. The hum was rhythmic, almost musical. She realized that the statue might not just be a piece of art. It could be some kind of technology, something far beyond human understanding. The team stood in awe, watching as the hum pulsed in sync with the sunlight. Mara noticed that the light seemed to form patterns on the statue. The patterns were strange shapes, almost like writing, but unlike any language she had seen. She took out her notebook and began to sketch them carefully. This could be a message, a record of history, or even instructions. "Do you think it is dangerous?" asked Lian, the youngest member of the team. His eyes were wide with curiosity and a little fear. Mara shook her head. "I do not think so. It is intelligent, yes, but it does not seem aggressive. We need to study it carefully. This could be the greatest discovery in human history." The hum continued, growing softer and stronger in waves. The team decided to set up a temporary camp near the ruins. They needed to analyze the energy readings, scan the statue, and make sure it was stable. Mara took a small sample of sand near the statue to study its composition. The golden dust shimmered in her hands, as if it were alive. That night, under the twin moons of Aura 7, the team sat around a small campfire. The statue stood in the distance, its golden surface reflecting the pale light of the moons. It was silent now, but its presence was overwhelming. Mara could not stop thinking about it. Who had made this statue? Why had they built it here? And most importantly, what had they wanted to leave for the future? Sleep came slowly, but even in her dreams, Mara saw the statue moving. Not in a threatening way, but as if it were welcoming them. She woke up before dawn, unable to wait to return to it. The sunrise was magnificent. The first rays of the sun touched the statue, and the hum returned, soft and melodic. Mara approached carefully, almost reverently. She realized that the statue was designed to interact with the sunlight. Every angle, every shadow, seemed intentional. "Look at this," she called to the team. The golden glow highlighted parts of the statue that had been hidden before. Carvings appeared on the surface, symbols that had been invisible under the sand. Mara could see figures of humans, animals, and strange machines intertwined in patterns that told a story she could not yet understand. Jiro studied the energy readings. "It is like a map or a guide. The energy pulses are reacting to the sun, almost like it is alive. We may be able to communicate with it if we understand the patterns." Mara smiled. "This is more than a statue. It is a message from the past. Whoever built this wanted someone to find it, and we are the ones who did." As the team worked through the day, clearing more sand and recording every detail, a sense of excitement filled the air. They were no longer just explorers. They were the first humans to witness a treasure left by an ancient civilization. The golden statue of the sun god was more than a relic. It was proof that humans could find, understand, and protect the mysteries of the universe. By the evening, the statue stood fully revealed, towering over the camp. Its golden surface glimmered under the setting suns, casting long shadows across the desert. Mara knew that this was only the beginning. The discovery would lead them to new challenges, new knowledge, and perhaps even new friends or foes among the stars. The planet of Aura 7 had chosen to reveal its secret to humanity, and Mara felt a deep sense of pride and responsibility. The golden statue of the sun god had awakened, and humanity had arrived to witness its power. The morning sun rose slowly over Aura 7, casting long golden beams across the desert. Mara and her team woke early, eager to continue studying the golden statue. Last night had been filled with excitement and wonder, but today promised more discovery. The hum of the statue, soft in the morning light, seemed almost like a greeting. Mara felt a shiver of anticipation as she approached it. She noticed that the carvings on the statue's surface had changed slightly. Symbols that had been faint the day before now glowed gently. Mara ran her fingers along the smooth surface, careful not to damage anything. She felt warmth radiating from the metal. It was not ordinary heat. It was as if the statue itself was alive, aware of their presence. "Look at this," Jiro called from the other side of the statue. He pointed to a section of the golden surface where lines of light formed shapes. "It looks like the energy is moving. It is forming patterns, maybe even a message." Mara studied the lines of light. They pulsed in a rhythm, brightening and dimming in waves. "It could be a form of communication," she said. "We need to understand the pattern before we try anything." Lian, the youngest member of the team, crouched near the base of the statue. "Do you think it can understand us if we talk to it?" he asked nervously. Mara smiled. "I am not sure, but the energy suggests it is not just a simple statue. It may respond to actions, sounds, or light. Let's experiment carefully." The team decided to try different signals. They clapped their hands, used flashlights, and even tapped the metal gently. At first, there was no response, but then, as Mara held a small mirror to reflect sunlight onto the statue, something extraordinary happened. The hum grew louder, steady, and the golden lines on its surface shifted to form a glowing map. The map showed the statue's location and other structures scattered across Aura 7. Jiro's eyes widened. It is showing us something. Maybe other sites or ruins nearby. Mara nodded. It is a guide. Whoever built this statue wanted someone to find these places. They left instructions in a way that only careful observers could understand. The statue's hum grew louder, resonating in a way that made the air vibrate slightly. Mara could feel a gentle force in her hands when she touched the golden surface. It was not dangerous, but it carried power. The energy seemed to encourage them, guiding their attention to different symbols. Mara realized that the statue was teaching them to understand the ancient civilization, to connect with the knowledge left behind. Suddenly, a strong pulse of light shot from the statue toward the sky. It was brilliant, like the sun itself had reached down to touch the golden figure. Mara and her team shielded their eyes, but when they looked again, the sky was filled with shimmering patterns. Stars and planets appeared as if the statue was showing them a map of the solar system. The humans were amazed. The statue was more than a relic. It was a device for learning, exploration, and possibly protection. Could it be a warning? Lian asked, his voice small but curious. Mara shook her head. I do not think so. I think it is a record, a history, and a guide. We are lucky to be here to witness it. The team spent the rest of the morning documenting every detail. Mara sketched the glowing symbols while Jiro measured the energy pulses. Lian collected sand samples near the statue, noticing how the golden particles seemed to react to the light and energy. The desert around them felt alive. Every grain of sand seemed to hum faintly in response to the statue's energy. As the suns reached their highest point, Mara noticed something unusual. The statue's hands, which had been still for hours, began to move slightly. Slowly, deliberately, it raised the object it held in front of its chest. The object reflected the sunlight in a dazzling display. Mara realized it was not just metal. It was a crystal or gem that seemed to store energy from the sun. This could be the key, Mara said. The sun god statue may use this object to channel energy. It might be how it communicates or protects the planet. Jiro examined the crystal closely. It is unlike anything we have seen. The energy readings are off the charts. It is stable now, but if we are not careful, we could damage it. Mara nodded. We will handle it carefully. The statue has lasted thousands of years. It survived the elements, maybe even storms or meteor strikes. It is strong, but it is also intelligent. We must respect it. The team decided to set up sensors around the statue to record its movements and energy changes. As they worked, Mara noticed that the glowing symbols on the surface were shifting again. This time, they formed images of humans and creatures working together. Mara could see figures building structures, exploring planets, and using machines that resembled early human technology. It was like the statue was telling them that cooperation and intelligence were valued by the ancient civilization. This is amazing, Lian whispered. It is showing us how they lived. Mara smiled. It is also showing us what we can become. If we work together, humans can reach the stars and protect life on many planets. Suddenly, a low rumble came from the ground. The statue's hum grew deeper and more powerful. Mara felt the vibration in her chest. The golden lines on the statue moved faster, forming a spiral of energy around the figure. The sun's light hit the crystal, and a beam shot straight into the sky. It was bright enough to be seen from the edge of the planet. Jiro stepped back. It is activating something. I think it wants to show us more. Mara approached the statue cautiously. She held out her hand, letting the energy pulse through her fingers. The light from the crystal reflected onto the sand, creating glowing paths that led away from the statue. It was a trail, a direction to follow. Mara realized that the sun god statue was guiding them to other secrets hidden on Aura 7. This is only the beginning, Mara said softly. The statue is alive in a way we do not fully understand. It is showing us a path, a story, and perhaps even a way to protect this planet. As the team followed the glowing trails, Mara could not help but feel a sense of pride and wonder. Humans had arrived on this distant planet, and the golden statue had chosen to reveal its secrets to them. It was a moment of connection between the past and the present, a bridge between civilizations separated by time. The desert of Aura 7 was no longer empty. It was alive with history, knowledge, and promise. The golden statue of the sun god had awakened fully, and humanity was ready to learn its lessons. Mara knew that the journey ahead would be filled with challenges, but it would also be filled with discovery and hope. The hum of the statue continued as the suns began to set. Golden light bathed the desert, reflecting in the eyes of the human explorers. The adventure had only just begun, and Mara felt certain that what they would discover next would change humanity forever. The next morning on Aura 7, the desert was quiet and still. Mara and her team were ready to follow the glowing paths created by the sun god statue. The previous day had shown them that the statue was alive, intelligent, and willing to share its secrets. Now they were curious about what lay ahead. Each step across the golden sand seemed to vibrate with energy from the statue. Mara could feel a gentle warmth in her hands as she held the small crystal they had found in the statue's grasp. As they moved forward, Jiro paused and pointed toward the horizon. "Do you see that?" he asked. A line of small ships appeared in the sky. They were moving fast and heading straight toward the statue. Mara's heart quickened. "We are not alone," she said. "Someone else knows about this place." The ships were unlike any human technology. Sleek, smooth, and glowing with a faint blue light, they hovered above the dunes. Mara could feel the hum of their engines in her chest. She raised her hand to signal the team to stop. "We need to observe first," she said. "We do not know if they are friendly or hostile." The ships landed carefully, stirring the golden sand into small whirlwinds. From each ship emerged tall figures covered in silver armor. Their faces were hidden behind reflective helmets, and their movements were precise and controlled. Mara and her team stayed behind a ridge, watching as the visitors approached the statue. "They are aliens," Lian whispered, his eyes wide with awe. "They look like they are searching for something." Mara nodded. "I think they are here for the statue. We must be careful. The statue has power, but we cannot let it fall into the wrong hands." The aliens began to examine the statue, using devices that emitted beams of light to scan the golden surface. Mara noticed that their technology was advanced, but not as flexible as human tools. The aliens followed strict patterns and rules, while humans had the ability to adapt and think creatively. Mara realized this could be their advantage. "We need to find a way to communicate with the statue," Mara said to her team. "If it responds to us, we may be able to protect it." Jiro studied the energy readings. "The statue reacts to sunlight, sound, and energy pulses. Maybe we can use the crystal to create a signal that they cannot control." Mara agreed. She held the crystal high, reflecting the sunlight in rapid patterns across the statue. The hum grew louder, resonating through the sand and air. The golden lines on the statue's surface shifted quickly, forming bright symbols and images. The aliens paused, surprised by the sudden energy. They tried to replicate it, but their patterns did not match. The statue responded only to the humans' efforts. Lian joined Mara, holding a small mirror to direct the sunlight more precisely. "It works," he shouted. "The statue is listening to us." Mara smiled. "Good. Keep the light moving. Follow the patterns we discovered yesterday. We can guide it to protect itself." The statue's hum turned into a steady pulse. Energy began to radiate from it in all directions, forming a golden shield around the structure. The aliens tried to penetrate the shield with their beams, but each attempt was absorbed or deflected by the statue's energy. Mara realized that the ancient civilization had designed the statue not just as a monument, but as a defense system. "They cannot get through," Mara said. "The statue is protecting itself because it recognizes us as allies." The aliens adjusted their devices, attempting different methods, but the shield remained strong. Mara noticed that the statue's energy grew stronger when humans touched it or reflected sunlight from the crystal. This confirmed her theory that the statue responded to intelligence and creativity rather than brute force. Jiro examined the pattern of energy. "If we focus on certain sequences, we can make the statue create barriers or even project messages. We can use this to communicate with the aliens or guide them away without harming anyone." Mara nodded. "We will try that. We do not want to fight if we do not have to. But we must protect the statue and the knowledge it holds." The aliens moved closer, scanning the surrounding area for other artifacts. Mara decided to lead them away from the statue using the glowing paths it had created. She signaled to Lian and Jiro. "We will guide them along the paths. The statue will follow our energy patterns and keep itself safe." The team carefully directed beams of sunlight, reflected by mirrors and the crystal, along the golden lines in the sand. The statue's hum followed their signals, shifting energy in a controlled way. The aliens were puzzled, trying to interpret the patterns, but they could not understand them. The humans' creativity allowed them to manipulate the statue in ways the aliens could not predict. As the day went on, Mara noticed something incredible. The statue began to project images into the air. Scenes of the ancient civilization appeared, people building machines, exploring planets, and using energy to protect their world. Mara realized that the statue was teaching them. It was not just a defense system, but a teacher, sharing knowledge with those who could understand it. "The statue is showing us how to use its power wisely," Mara said. "It is giving us lessons from the past." The aliens, frustrated, began to retreat slightly, realizing that brute force would not win. Mara and her team continued to guide the statue's energy, creating barriers and displays that kept the visitors at a safe distance. The golden light from the statue reflected across the desert, dazzling and powerful. It was clear that humans had earned the statue's trust through their intelligence, adaptability, and cooperation. By late afternoon, the aliens had withdrawn completely, hovering in the distance and observing. Mara and her team stood near the statue, exhausted but triumphant. The golden lines pulsed gently, as if the statue were thanking them. Mara touched the surface once more, feeling warmth and energy flow through her hands. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "The statue has chosen us to learn from it, to protect it, and to carry its knowledge forward. We have proven that humans can rise to challenges and use intelligence and creativity to succeed where force alone would fail." Lian looked up at the statue, his eyes shining with excitement. "It is amazing. I never thought we could face something like this and come out safe. The statue trusts us." Mara nodded. "And we must honor that trust. There is much more to discover on Aura 7. The sun god statue has many secrets, and we are here to uncover them, carefully and wisely." As the suns began to set, casting long golden shadows across the desert, the statue stood tall and proud. Its hum filled the air with a gentle rhythm, like a heartbeat of the planet itself. Mara and her team knew that humans had arrived at a turning point. They had met an alien intelligence, faced a powerful civilization's technology, and used their own creativity and courage to protect something greater than themselves. The golden statue of the sun god had revealed its power, and humans had proven they were worthy of its secrets. Mara felt a deep sense of pride and hope. The adventure was far from over, but she knew that with determination, intelligence, and teamwork, humans could overcome any challenge the universe would present. The morning light on Aura 7 was soft and golden, reflecting off the desert sand and the towering sun god statue. Mara and her team had slept near the ruins, exhausted from the encounter with the alien visitors the day before. Yet excitement filled the air. The statue had shown them it could communicate and protect itself, and now it seemed ready to reveal more of its secrets. Mara approached the statue carefully. She placed her hands on its golden surface and felt the familiar warmth and gentle hum. It was as if the statue was alive, aware of her presence, and ready to guide them further. The glowing symbols shifted, forming new patterns and images that Mara had not seen before. Some looked like landscapes, while others appeared to be mechanical devices or energy systems. She realized that the statue was teaching them, showing them knowledge from an ancient civilization. "We need to record everything," Mara said to her team. "This may be instructions or a map of something important." Jiro and Lian immediately began setting up scanners and cameras to capture the symbols. Every pulse of light and energy was documented. The golden patterns formed shapes that looked like doors, corridors, and rooms. Mara stepped back and realized the statue might be pointing toward hidden structures beneath the desert. "Do you think there are more ruins like this?" Lian asked, his eyes wide with wonder. Mara nodded. "Yes. The statue is guiding us. Whoever built it wanted someone to find these places. They trusted intelligence and courage. That is why it responds to us." The hum of the statue grew louder. Suddenly, energy surged from its crystal, forming a beam that shot high into the sky. The light split into smaller paths, touching the sand and creating glowing trails leading away from the main statue. Mara felt a thrill of excitement. The sun god statue was showing them a way to explore further ruins safely. Jiro examined the readings. "The energy is not dangerous. It is protective and informative. It is guiding us, like a teacher." Mara smiled. "Then we follow it?" Carefully and respectfully. The team began to walk along the glowing trails. As they moved, they discovered small mounds of sand covering entrances to underground chambers. The statue's energy pulsed near these entrances, indicating that the structures below were significant. Mara knelt and brushed the sand away, revealing stone doors carved with intricate symbols. "These doors must lead to something important," Mara said. "The statue wants us to see what is inside." Jiro activated a portable scanner. The devices revealed empty rooms filled with mechanisms, crystals, and energy conduits. Some of the devices looked like they could store or transfer power. Mara realized that the ancient civilization had built complex technology, using energy in ways humans were only beginning to understand. "This is incredible," Lian said. "It is like stepping into a lost world." Mara nodded. "We must be careful. The technology may still be active, and we do not know its limits." The team moved through several chambers, each one more fascinating than the last. The walls glowed faintly, and symbols similar to those on the statue appeared everywhere. Some symbols looked like instructions for activating devices or channels of energy. Mara studied them closely, realizing that the statue had left guidance for anyone who could interpret its patterns. "It is teaching us," Mara said. "The sun god statue is more than a monument. It is a teacher, a protector, and a guide." In one chamber, they found a large crystal embedded in the floor. As Mara approached, the crystal began to glow and hum, resonating with the energy from the statue above. She placed her hands on it, feeling the warmth spread through her body. The energy seemed to connect the crystal with the statue, forming a network of light and power that spanned the surface and underground chambers. "This is amazing," Jiro said. "The statue is connected to all of these devices. It controls or interacts with them through energy. That is why it can protect itself and respond to us." Mara nodded. "It also explains why the aliens could not take it. The statue chooses who can access its secrets. We have proven that humans can think creatively and work together. That is why it trusts us." As they explored further, Mara noticed an image forming in the air above one of the crystals. It showed people and machines working together to build a protective system for the planet. The humans in the image were strong, intelligent, and cooperative. Mara realized that the statue was emphasizing the values it held important: knowledge, courage, teamwork, and respect for life. "The statue wants us to learn from it," Mara said softly. "It is teaching us how to be guardians of the planet and its knowledge." The hum grew louder, and the crystal's light brightened. Mara realized that the sun god statue might not only protect the planet but also empower humans who showed wisdom and determination. The energy flowing through the network made her feel connected to the statue and to the planet itself. Suddenly, the ground beneath them shook lightly. Mara looked around. The statue's energy pulsed through the desert like a heartbeat. Golden light spread across the sand, revealing more hidden paths and entrances. The team realized that the statue was guiding them to new areas, expanding their understanding of the ancient civilization. "We must follow these paths," Mara said. "There is so much more to discover. The sun god statue has opened a door to the past, and it is showing us what humans can achieve when we think, create, and work together." As the suns began to set, the glowing trails faded slowly, but the statue's hum remained steady and strong. Mara and her team returned to the surface, carrying samples, sketches, and data from the underground chambers. They felt a sense of pride and purpose. Humans had connected with an alien intelligence, learned from its knowledge, and shown that courage and creativity could protect something far greater than themselves. "The adventure is only beginning," Mara said. "The statue has much more to reveal. And we are ready to learn from it." The golden light of the statue reflected in the desert as the stars began to appear in the sky. Mara looked at her team and saw the same awe and excitement she felt. Humans had discovered a treasure unlike any other, and they were beginning to understand the power of intelligence, cooperation, and respect. The sun god statue had revealed more of its secrets today, showing that humans were worthy of knowledge, protection, and discovery. Mara knew that each day on Aura 7 would bring new challenges, new discoveries, and new lessons. Humanity had arrived, and they were ready to rise to the occasion. The golden statue stood tall and proud, a silent teacher and protector, waiting to reveal even greater secrets to those who showed courage, wisdom, and unity. Mara felt certain that the knowledge they were gaining would change humanity forever, guiding them toward greatness among the stars. The next morning, Aura 7 seemed brighter than ever. The twin suns reflected off the golden sands, casting long shadows of the towering sun god statue. Mara and her team awoke early, ready to continue their exploration. They had learned much from the statue and the underground chambers, but Mara felt that today would bring a challenge unlike any before. The statue had pulsed with energy in new ways overnight, and the golden crystal it held glowed stronger than before. Mara approached the statue with caution and reverence. The hum grew louder as she placed her hands on its smooth surface. The golden symbols shifted again, forming sequences that were more complex than anything they had seen. Jiro and Lian joined her, observing the patterns carefully. Mara realized that this was a test. The statue was showing them a sequence of energy pulses, challenging them to replicate it correctly in order to unlock its next level of knowledge. "This is it," Mara said. "The statue is testing us. We need to understand the pattern and follow it precisely." Jiro studied the energy readings. "It is like a code. If we get it wrong, we might reset the sequence, but if we succeed, we may unlock something incredible." Lian looked nervous. "What happens if we fail?" Mara smiled. "I do not think it will harm us. The statue is intelligent. It teaches through challenge, not punishment. We just have to be careful and work together." They set up mirrors, reflectors, and energy sensors around the statue. Using the crystal, they carefully directed beams of sunlight onto specific symbols. The golden lines shifted in response, glowing brighter when they matched the sequence correctly and dimming when they were off. Hours passed as they adjusted angles, changed positions, and tried different patterns. The statue's hum grew louder, resonating with every correct movement. Finally, after many attempts, the pattern aligned perfectly. The statue's hum turned into a steady pulse, filling the desert with a golden glow. The crystal in its hands emitted beams that connected to the underground chambers, lighting up pathways they had not seen before. Mara felt energy flowing through her hands, warm and powerful but safe. She realized that they had unlocked the statue's full guidance. It worked, Jiro said in awe. The statue is fully active now. Look at the chambers, it is showing us even more. The statue projected images into the air, scenes of ancient technology and energy systems. Machines lifted massive structures, crystals powered entire cities, and people coordinated with precision and intelligence. Mara understood that the statue was teaching them how the ancient civilization had protected their planet and used knowledge wisely. These images are instructions, Mara said. The sun god statue is showing us how to use its power without causing harm. It is teaching us responsibility and wisdom. Suddenly, the ground beneath them shook lightly. Mara felt a pulse of energy flow through her body, like a heartbeat connecting her to the planet. The golden lines on the statue expanded outward, forming a protective shield around the entire ruins. Mara realized that the statue was not just teaching, they were now part of its system. Their actions, intelligence, and cooperation had earned the trust of this ancient technology. Lian looked amazed. It feels like the statue is alive. Like it knows we are humans and trusts us. Mara nodded. It is alive in a sense, yes. It recognizes those who think, create, and work together. That is why it responded to us. We have proven our worth. Jiro studied the glowing pathways leading from the statue. These trails are showing us more structures, more devices that we can study. The statue is giving us access to its entire system. Mara realized the significance. The sun god statue had not just been a monument. It was a network, a source of knowledge, and a protector for the planet. Humans had unlocked it through intelligence, courage, and teamwork. The aliens they had encountered before would not have been able to achieve this. The statue recognized humanity's potential. As they followed the glowing pathways, they discovered new chambers filled with even more advanced technology. Some devices stored energy from the sun, others controlled environmental systems, and some seemed capable of communicating over vast distances. Mara could see the ancient civilization's wisdom in every device. They had built systems not only to survive but to thrive and protect life. This is incredible, Lian said. They trusted us with everything. It feels like we are part of their world now. Mara agreed. And we have a responsibility. We must learn, understand, and protect these secrets. The statue has given us the knowledge, but it is up to us to use it wisely. Hours passed as they explored the chambers, documenting and studying everything. The statue's energy continued to pulse, guiding them toward areas that held the most important information. Mara realized that this was a turning point. Humans had connected with an ancient intelligence, proven their capability, and now had access to technology that could change the future. Suddenly, a golden beam shot from the statue into the sky. It formed a dome of energy around the entire ruins, creating a protective shield. Mara could see the hum of energy in the air, like a golden heartbeat surrounding the desert. The statue had not only guided them but had activated its defensive systems fully, ready to protect its secrets and the planet. This is more than I imagined, Jiro said. The statue is alive, protective, and powerful. And it trusts us to use its knowledge. Mara placed her hands on the crystal once more, feeling warmth and energy flow through her body. She understood now that the test had been designed to measure their intelligence, cooperation, and respect. They had succeeded, and the statue had revealed its full potential. We are ready for what comes next, Mara said softly. The sun god statue has shown us its power, but it also teaches us patience, wisdom, and teamwork. That is what makes us worthy. As the suns began to set, the golden light of the statue reflected across the desert. Mara looked at her team and saw pride, wonder, and determination in their eyes. Humans had unlocked a mystery that had remained hidden for thousands of years. They had faced challenges, outsmarted potential threats, and now stood as guardians of an ancient legacy. The sun god statue stood tall, glowing in golden light, a symbol of wisdom, power, and trust. Mara knew that humanity's journey on Aura 7 was far from over, but today they had proven that courage, intelligence, and teamwork could unlock even the greatest mysteries. The desert was alive with energy, and the statue's hum filled the air, steady and strong. Mara felt a deep sense of connection, not only to the statue but to the planet and the ancient civilization that had created it. Humans had passed the test, and now the full power and knowledge of the sun god statue were theirs to study and protect. Mara smiled. We have taken the first step into a much larger world. The statue has given us guidance, but it is up to us to carry it forward. Together, we can protect this planet and learn from the past to shape the future. The golden statue of the sun god had revealed its ultimate power, and humanity had risen to the challenge. Mara and her team stood in awe, knowing that they were now part of a legacy that would inspire generations to come. The morning sun rose slowly over Aura 7, spreading warm golden light across the desert. Mara and her team stood near the sun god statue, still glowing with energy from the previous day. They had passed the statue's test, unlocked its full guidance, and discovered new chambers underground. Now, the statue seemed to have a purpose beyond teaching and protection. It pulsed with a steady rhythm, and its golden lines stretched across the sand, pointing to places they had not explored yet. Mara felt a sense of anticipation. Today, we may finally understand why the statue was built. I think it has a greater purpose than we imagined. Jiro nodded. The energy readings are stronger than ever. The statue is connecting with something beneath the surface, maybe even the entire planet. The team followed the glowing trails the statue projected across the desert. They came to a large stone platform that had been partially buried under sand. The golden lines converged here, forming a radiant pattern that shone under the twin suns. Mara stepped forward and touched the platform. The hum from the statue intensified, and the sand began to shift, revealing a circular opening leading deep underground. This must be the central chamber, Mara said. The heart of the statue's power. The team carefully descended into the chamber. The walls were lined with golden conduits, crystals, and glowing symbols that pulsed in rhythm with the statue above. Energy flowed through the floor and ceiling, forming a network that seemed to connect the statue, the underground structures, and the surface of the planet. Mara realized that the statue had been designed as more than a monument. It was part of a planetary system, a network that could protect and maintain the world itself. It is incredible, Lian whispered. The statue is not just a guardian. It is the control center of the planet. Mara nodded. Yes. The creators built this system to protect Aura 7 from dangers we cannot even imagine. It can defend itself, guide explorers, and maintain balance across the planet. Jiro studied the crystal network. Look at this. The energy is stored in the crystals and directed through the conduits. The statue can project power over long distances and even manipulate the environment to protect the planet. Mara realized the significance. The sun god statue was more than an artifact. It was a planetary defense system, a guide for intelligent life, and a teacher of wisdom. Humans had proven themselves worthy by solving its tests, and now the statue had revealed its full potential. Suddenly, the hum intensified, and the crystals glowed brighter. A beam of golden light shot from the center of the chamber toward the surface, forming a dome of energy over the desert. Mara felt the power flowing through her hands as she touched the central crystal. It was not harmful, but it carried immense energy. She understood that the statue was activating the planet's defense systems, a demonstration of its ultimate purpose. This is what the statue was built for, Mara said softly. To protect the planet, preserve knowledge, and guide intelligent life. The chamber projected images into the air, showing ancient civilizations building cities, machines, and energy systems. The people worked together in harmony, using the sun god statue to maintain balance on their world. Mara realized that the creators had designed a system that could survive even after their civilization had disappeared. The statue was a legacy, a way to ensure that life on Aura 7 could continue safely. Lian watched the images in awe. They trusted us to understand this. The statue is showing us everything. Mara nodded. Yes. And now we have a responsibility. We must learn from it, protect it, and use this knowledge wisely. The hum continued, steady and strong. Mara felt a connection to the statue, as if it recognized their intelligence, courage, and teamwork. She placed her hands on the central crystal and felt energy flow through her body. It was like a bridge between the past and the present, linking humans to the ancient civilization's wisdom. This energy is incredible, Jiro said. It can power cities, protect the planet, and teach us. The possibilities are endless. Mara smiled. But we must be careful. The statue's power is not meant to be used recklessly. It was built to guide and protect, not to destroy. We must respect its purpose. As the team explored the chamber further, they discovered smaller crystals embedded in the walls. Each one seemed to store energy from the suns, and the conduits directed that energy toward the statue and the surface. Mara realized that the entire planet was linked in a carefully designed system. The statue, the crystals, and the underground chambers formed a network that could sense threats, respond intelligently, and maintain balance. This is the ultimate secret of Aura 7, Mara said. The sun god statue is not just a guardian. It is the heart of the planet's defense and guidance system. Suddenly, the chamber walls displayed a map of the planet, showing zones of energy and protection. Mara could see areas where storms or meteors could strike, and the statue's network adjusted energy flows to shield those regions. It was a living system, responsive and intelligent. The statue has been protecting this planet for thousands of years, Lian said. Even after the civilization that built it disappeared, the system continued to work. Mara nodded. And now it has chosen us. Humans have proven ourselves capable of understanding and respecting it. That is why it revealed its full power. The team spent hours studying the chambers, documenting the energy systems, and understanding how the statue connected to the planet. Mara realized that this knowledge could help humanity in the future, not only on Aura 7 but across the stars. The ancient civilization had left a legacy of intelligence, responsibility, and protection, and humans were now part of that legacy. As the suns began to set, the golden light of the statue reflected across the desert. The energy dome remained active, shimmering like a protective shield. Mara felt a sense of awe and gratitude. Humans had not only discovered a treasure but had also been entrusted with the wisdom and power of a long-lost civilization. This is more than a discovery, Mara said softly. It is a responsibility and a chance to learn. We must honor it, protect it, and use it wisely. Jiro and Lian nodded in agreement. They had seen the power, intelligence, and purpose of the sun god statue, and they understood the trust that had been placed in them. The statue had revealed its ultimate function, showing that humans could rise to challenges with courage, intelligence, and teamwork. The golden statue of the sun god stood tall, glowing under the twin suns. Its hum filled the air with a steady rhythm, like the heartbeat of the planet itself. Mara felt a deep connection to the statue and to Aura 7. Humans had arrived as explorers, but now they were guardians of knowledge, protectors of the planet, and witnesses to the wisdom of a civilization long gone. The desert was alive with energy, and the statue's golden glow reflected across the sands. Mara knew that humans had passed the ultimate test. They had proven their worthiness, and in return, the sun god statue had revealed the full purpose of its power. Humanity had connected with a legacy of intelligence, protection, and wisdom that would inspire generations to come. Mara looked at her team and smiled. We have much to learn, but today we understand the true power and purpose of the sun god statue. It is not just a relic. It is a guardian, a teacher, and a protector. And it has chosen us to continue its mission. The golden light of the statue shimmered in the desert, steady and strong. Humans had unlocked its secrets, understood its purpose, and risen to the challenge. The sun god statue had revealed its ultimate function, and humanity had proven itself worthy of its knowledge and power. The desert of Aura 7 glowed under the light of the twin suns, and the golden statue of the sun god towered above the sands. Mara and her team had spent days exploring the statue, the underground chambers, and the energy network that connected the planet. They had unlocked the full power of the statue, understood its purpose, and discovered the secrets of an ancient civilization. Today, they felt a new sense of responsibility. Humans were no longer visitors. They were guardians, students, and protectors of a legacy that spanned thousands of years. Mara stood near the statue, watching the golden lines pulse across the sand. The hum of energy filled the air, steady and rhythmic. She felt connected to the statue in a way she had never imagined. The energy flowed through the crystals, through the underground chambers, and through her hands. It was a living system, alive with intelligence and purpose. We have come far, Mara said, speaking softly to Jiro and Lian. The statue has shown us its secrets, and we have proven ourselves worthy. But our work is only beginning. We must protect this knowledge and ensure it is used wisely. Jiro nodded. The alien visitors from before may return. They saw the statue and its power. We need to be ready, but the statue will defend itself if we guide it correctly. Lian smiled. I feel like we are part of something much bigger than ourselves. The statue is teaching us how to think, how to protect, and how to work together. I never imagined we would be chosen like this. Mara placed her hand on the golden crystal. The energy pulsed in response, like a heartbeat connecting her to the statue and the planet. She realized that humans were now part of the system, linked to the knowledge, protection, and wisdom of the ancient civilization. The sun god statue had not only revealed its power but had also entrusted it to those who were capable of understanding and respecting it. Suddenly, a light appeared on the horizon. The alien ships that had visited days before were returning. Mara signaled for her team to stay calm. The aliens descended carefully, scanning the desert. Mara and her team stood beside the statue, confident in the protective energy surrounding them. They are observing, Mara said. We must show them that we understand the statue and that we can work with it, not against it. The statue's hum grew louder, and the golden lines stretched toward the approaching ships. The aliens paused, their devices unable to penetrate the energy shield. Mara understood that this was a moment of diplomacy. Humans had proven their intelligence and cooperation, and now the aliens would see that brute force would not succeed. Mara stepped forward, holding the crystal in her hands. She reflected sunlight in patterns the statue had taught them, creating beams that formed symbols in the air. The aliens watched carefully, seemingly trying to interpret the signals. Mara realized that the statue was helping her communicate with them. It was a universal language of intelligence, creativity, and respect. The aliens lowered their devices, and one of them raised a hand. Mara felt a sense of relief. They had understood that humans were worthy of the statue's trust. The aliens observed the energy network, the crystals, and the underground chambers. They saw the statue's protective systems and realized that humans had unlocked its knowledge through intelligence and teamwork, not aggression. It worked, Lian whispered. They understand us now. Mara nodded. The statue has chosen us to protect this knowledge. The aliens may have their own reasons for coming, but they will see that humans are capable guardians. The aliens slowly retreated, hovering above the desert. Mara watched as their ships disappeared into the horizon. The statue's energy returned to a steady pulse, calm and strong. Mara and her team breathed deeply, proud of what they had accomplished. They had faced challenges, unlocked secrets, and proven that humans could rise to any test. "We did it," Jiro said. "The statue is safe, and the planet is protected." Mara smiled. "Yes, but we must continue to learn. The sun god statue has much more to teach, and Aura 7 has more secrets to reveal. Our journey is far from over." The team spent the rest of the day setting up a base near the statue. They installed scanners, communication devices, and energy monitors to study the statue and the planet safely. Mara realized that humans were not just explorers anymore. They were students, scientists, and guardians. The knowledge they had gained could help humanity in the future, guiding them to new discoveries across the stars. As the suns began to set, the golden light of the statue bathed the desert in warmth. Mara stood beside it, feeling the energy flow through her hands and into the crystals. She understood now that the statue was more than a monument. It was a teacher, a protector, and a symbol of what humans could achieve when they used intelligence, courage, and teamwork. "This is our legacy now," Mara said softly. "We have learned from the past, and we will protect this knowledge for the future. The statue chose us, and we will honor its trust." Jiro and Lian nodded. They had faced challenges, unlocked ancient secrets, and stood as witnesses to a civilization long gone. Yet they also realized that they were shaping the future, carrying the wisdom of the sun god statue forward. Night fell over Aura 7, and the twin moons reflected off the golden sands. The statue's hum continued, steady and rhythmic, like the heartbeat of the planet itself. Mara felt a deep sense of connection and peace. Humans had arrived as explorers, but now they were part of a legacy that would inspire generations. The desert was quiet and alive, filled with energy, knowledge, and promise. Mara looked at her team and saw determination, wonder, and pride in their eyes. Humanity had proven itself worthy of the sun god statue's secrets, and they had shown that intelligence, courage, and teamwork could overcome any challenge. "This is only the beginning," Mara said. "We have unlocked the knowledge and protection of Aura 7, but the journey ahead will be filled with discovery. Together, we can learn, protect, and grow. Humanity has a place among the stars, and the sun god statue has shown us the way." The golden light of the statue shimmered in the night, casting long shadows across the desert. Its hum filled the air, steady and strong. Humans had arrived, unlocked its secrets, and proven themselves worthy of its knowledge and power. The sun god statue would continue to teach, protect, and guide, and humanity would honor its legacy. Mara placed her hand on the crystal one last time before the night grew deeper. She felt the energy flow through her, connecting her to the statue, the planet, and the ancient civilization that had created it. It was a bond of trust, wisdom, and purpose. The sun god statue stood tall and proud, a symbol of intelligence, courage, and unity. Mara and her team had faced tests, unlocked secrets, and proven humanity's worth. Aura 7 was no longer just a distant planet. It was a place of learning, protection, and hope. Humans had arrived, and they were ready to carry the legacy of the sun god forward, guarding its knowledge and spreading its lessons across the stars. The desert was calm, the energy steady, and the golden statue glowed under the twin moons. Mara knew that the story of humanity and the sun god statue had only just begun, but they had taken the first step into a future filled with discovery, wisdom, and unity.